Do you ever put on a random Netflix movie and end up thinking, wow, that was way better than I expected? Maybe the thumbnail looked generic, or maybe you just threw it on without expecting much, but by the time it's over, you're really glad you watched it. Today, we're looking at 7 Netflix movies like that. For example, one of those movies came out just last year. I watch a lot of movies for this channel, and some of them I'm just not excited about. Nonnas was one of those movies, but wow, it really blew me away. It's about a guy who opens an Italian restaurant staffed entirely by grandmothers. I know it doesn't sound interesting, but it's one of those movies that leaves you in a much better mood than when you started. It's less about the grandmother angle and more about a person just putting their heart and soul into fulfilling their dreams and struggling, but having good people around them that can pull them up. It was a very inspiring and entertaining film and definitely shouldn't be overlooked because of its somewhat generic look. After that, we have what looks like a pretty basic sci-fi movie, but was actually really surprising. It's called What Happened to Monday, and it's a dystopian sci-fi set in a future where overpopulation has led to a one-child rule, but a set of identical septuplets are forced to live in secret. This is a movie I put off watching for a long time, but when I finally got around to it, I found it to be way more tense and entertaining than I expected. Noomi Rapace does an impressive job playing 7 characters, and the movie pulls you in right from the get-go and has enough momentum to keep you hooked the whole time. What Happened to Monday might look like cheap sci-fi filler, but it's actually a genuinely gripping movie. For this next movie, don't take my word for it. Check out one of the top comments on the movie's trailer. It says this might be the most surprisingly good, but thought it was going to be terrible movie of all time. It's Eurovision Song Contest, the story of Fire Saga. And yes, it looks like a weak Will Ferrell comedy, but it has way more going on for it than movies like this usually do. It's got a solid underdog story, fast pacing, always changing scenes. The characters are likable, especially the one played by Rachel McAdams. The songs are actually catchy, and the whole thing has a warmth and sweetness that really sneaks up on you. It's a comedy, so naturally it's not going to appeal to everybody, but don't be surprised if you find Eurovision to be a genuinely lovable movie. The next one is one of those movies people pass by a bunch of times without ever clicking on it. It's called Spectral, and it's a military sci-fi film about a special ops team that is dispatched to fight supernatural beings. It looks like it'd be a cheap or a low quality sci-fi flick, but it's not at all. It actually seems like a movie that could have easily played in theaters. It was an early Netflix film and probably would have done a lot better if it was released today. It's a really solid mix of military action, horror, and sci-fi. It doesn't look cheap at all. It actually had a pretty sizable budget. It didn't reinvent the wheel or anything, but it definitely delivered on the intensity and thrills. Spectral is probably one of the best Netflix original sci-fi movies and is definitely worth a second look. Our next movie is a low-budget sci-fi, but it punches way above its weight. It's called Upgrade, and it's about a paralyzed man who's given an experimental implant that can restore his mobility and a lot more. This movie had every right to be a B-movie sci-fi with its measly $3 million budget, but it completely blows away all expectations. It's one of the best sci-fi movies of the 2000s with some awesome action scenes, smart script, and stylish aesthetic. It's very entertaining and very cool and definitely not to be missed by sci-fi fans. Unfortunately, Upgrade is not in every Netflix region, but you can find it in a lot of places like the US and Australia. The next movie didn't look bad, but I certainly wasn't expecting it to be great. It's the horror flick The Ritual, about a group of hikers in Sweden who stumble upon an ancient evil. The Ritual looks like a pretty standard horror movie, but ended up being one of my favorites on Netflix. The atmosphere is great, with things starting off a little odd, but just getting increasingly weirder. You're never totally sure where the movie is going, and it just escalates and escalates all the way until the end. It'll definitely make you think twice about taking a shortcut through the woods. If you're a horror fan and you've slept on The Ritual up to this point, you should definitely consider giving it a look. The next movie I stumbled upon when I was looking for something like the Korean film Parasite, but I ended up liking this movie even more. It's called Forgotten, and it's a mystery thriller film about a man who starts questioning whether his brother is real or a creepy look-alike. Nothing about this movie really stands out unless you watch it. It's got some insane plot twists, and if you like mystery, you will be extremely satisfied. It's totally unpredictable and keeps you sucked in the whole time because you're always wondering what the hell is going on. I thought Forgotten was a blast to watch, and if you like lots of twists and turns, you should definitely check it out. If you want to find some more buried gems on Netflix, you could check out this video here. Thanks so much for watching. I will see you again soon.